Hello and welcome to this week tutorial. In this week tutorial we'll be creating user profile card, two different versions. This is the first one with a cool hover effect. You can see we have the image right here. The username is the title, the amount of posts we have, followers and following, and the button with this nice hover effect. In our second version we had this big image, and as you can see when you hover over it, it gets bigger. Then you had a name, the title, and the post, everything in this button. So without further ado, let's get started. So right here I have my code editor, Visual Studio Code open. On the right I have my browser. So I'm going to be using extension to open this. First I'll close it out and I'll go live again. This is the finished project, and this is where we're gonna start fresh again. So and I have my CSS right here. You don't have the basic stuff. We come back to it later. I just have my HTML boilerplate right here. A link to the CSS at the title, and then let's get started. So first I will create a div with a class container that will hold everything. Inside of it I will create a div with the class code. If I press tab, it will create div with class code. But I would like to add another class for the first code. I will record 2 dashes variant 1. That'll be the first version of the code. So inside of it I will create a div with a class called code 2 underscore header. Inside of it I will put in my image, and I have an image right here. That's the image I'm going to be using. So I go to the image folder, images, and then get the image. After this code header, I will create another one called code body. Inside here, that's where we want to place all of this from here. This. So first, the username and the title. I will create a div with the class user details. Inside here I will create a h3 and write our name Sandy, and I will paragraph tag and write our job title software. Now after this one we will create another div with a class called user data, and this will hold this section right here. I will create another div with class data, and inside of it a span element, and I will write 122, and I will create another span. So I will just duplicate this holding shift alt and a down arrow key, and in Visual Studio it will duplicate it, and this one I will put post, and then I will create another one. So I will just copy this, shift alt down twice, because we have 1, 2 and 3. So this one will be 1.2 K and will be followers. and this one will be 62. It will be following. I can see. So if I save this is what we got. And then after the body right here, I'll create another one called footer, and this will hold a button. So I create anchor element with a class button. I will leave the href empty, and for the value I'll put send message. I save it. This is what we got right here. So I will just copy this whole thing, copy this one to create a second version. So I go down few lines, paste it. Now instead of being 1 here, I put 2, and that's it. We don't have to change anything else. So I close this and I save it. We get the same result. Now we go back to the styling. So remember, this is the first one and this is the second version. Only thing we change here is just the class right here. So let's get styling. Inside of CSS, I just create some custom variable for the off-white color and the primary. This is the off-white color and this is the primary. And then I use the universal selector to remove the padding, margin, and set up backsizing the border box. And I set the font size and HTML, the root element, to be 10 pixels because I'll be using RAM. This unit we make it relative to the root element. So 1 RAM equal 10 pixels, 2 RAM it will be 20 pixels. And I'm using the Roboto for the font family. So let's get started. First, I will get a container. And I will set the max width to be 500 pixels, so 50 RAM. I save it. Nothing happens. I will set the margin 2 RAM, top and bottom, and auto left and right, so you put in the center. So you can see a little bit of space on the top right here and a little bit on the bottom right here. So after the container, we start styling the code. So I will grab the code class and I will set background color to our variable off-white. So to use that, we use the var keyword, open parentheses, and use the variable name, so off-white, as you can see right here. So I save this. You can see the background color changes on the code. I add a little bit of margin at the bottom so it can be a little bit of space right here, but you don't have to. So I say margin bottom of 3 RAM and add some space right here. So let's focus on this one and styling it. So by default, I add a padding of 5 RAM all around. Say text and line to be center. Set display to be flex and change the flex direction to be column. I save this. I will show you reason why I said to column. I save this. Nothing changes. But let's say if I didn't put this to be column, I put them side by side like this, but we want it to be, so that's where the column we make it. So I'll set the align item to be center. Now the align item, when you set a flat direction to be column, align item will work on the horizontal axis. So put everything in the center. I added a border radius to the code of 8 pixels, so 0.8 rem. Save it. You can see. I don't know if you can see it, but I add a little bit around the corner right here. If you look at this, we have a little bit of back shadow, this shadow right here. We're gonna add that to our code. So we're gonna use the backs shadow property and set the X value to be 0.2 rem, and that's the X. So on this side 0.2 rem, and for the Y this side again 0.2 rem, and for the blur 0.8 rem, and for the color say RGBA, red is a red, green, blue, and the alpha. Alpha is the transparency. So for the red it will be 0, for the green it will be 0, and for the blue it will be 0. That's dark, that's black, and for the alpha be 0.28. I save this. You can see this back shadow right here. So that's for the code. Now we want to style the code, the first one right here. As you can see, we are different. This one had a smaller image, this one had a full image. So let's focus on the small image right here. So we go down here, we grab the code again, and then we grab the code variant 1, that one, and we grab the code header for this option. So what we're doing is this: we're grabbing anything code, and at the same time have a code variant 1 next to it, and then we grab the code header inside this option right here. So that's what we're doing: a code that have a class code variant 1, and we're grabbing the code header inside of it. So what we're doing for this, we're setting a width to be 12 rem, so 120 pixel, and the height to be 12 rem, and overflow to be hidden, but we cancel this one out for now. I'll show you what it does later. A border radius won't be rounded border, so border radius to be 50 rem. When you set the same width and height inside border width to be 50%, we make a complete circle. Now I say border, give it a border of 0.4 rem, solid, and we use our primary color. So we're looking for the primary. I will set position to be relative. I will give it a margin bottom of 3 rem. I save it. As you can see, this is the header that we have right here. You can see the better the border, but this image is not sitting inside of it because it's bigger than the 120 pixel, which are 12 rem. So it's not out, it's spilling outside of it. That's where the overflow hidden comes in. We have set this one to hidden, then it clip it. So now this image inside of it. So like get the image inside here. So we get a code header image, code header, and the image tag inside of it. So I'm grabbing both this image and this one right here at the same time. So I'm setting this width to be 100%. As you can see, now the image is showing. I will set the objects fit to be cover. So when we resize it, it looks nice. And set display to be black. I save it. Nothing changes. If we go back to the finished one, we see we had this other border inside here. We're going to create that using a pseudo element, the before pseudo element on our header. So I'm going to grab this. Grab this. Come down here. Paste it. Now we're going to use the pseudo element before. And now it says contents. If you don't specify the contents and the pseudo element of before the after, it will not work. So make sure you specify contents. And now it says position to be absolute. That's why we set this to be relative. I say its width to be 85% of its parent width. This is parent right here. So this will be 85% of this width. Its height also to be 85%. Say the border radius to be 50% also. So complete circle and say border to be 0.2 rem solid, and again the primary color. And I will say display to be black. I save it. You can see it's right here, but it's not in the center, so we can move it using the top left property on the absolute. So let's do that. So top be 50% and left to be 50%. I save it. You see it's all the way over here, not in the center, so we need to bring it back up, and we're gonna do that using the transform translate. So I say transform translate -50% and -50%. Go include both of these to be 50%. Now we get negative both sides. So I save this. Now it's in the center right here, as you can see. Now let's style this right here. So let's get started. Now we grab the card body. Now when we're styling this, we're grabbing all the card body. So here and this one, we are no longer doing it just for the variant 1, not this for the both variant 1 and variant 2. So the card body, I will set width to be 100%, because when we set the card to be display flex, the width shrinks, so we need to set it back to 100%. We save it, nothing changes. Now we need to style this, which is a card body user details. I will give it a margin bottom or 3 rem. I save it. You can see that's some margin on the bottom. Now we need to style the H3 right here. So I'm gonna grab this one, copy this, paste it right here. Now we said choose H3. So what we're doing is we're grabbing the h3 inside of the user detail class, which is inside of the code body. So it says font size to be 2.5 RAM, which is 25 pixel, and margin bottom to be 1 pixel. So this is what we get right here. And then we need to do this one, the data, like this, right? The user data. So we go back here, code body, and then we grab the user data. We display it as flex, so they can be next to each other. Say this, as you can see right here. I will set justify content to be space between, so they are lines separately, equally spaced out, but it's not really in the center right here, and we're gonna fix that now. So this is the parent right here, that is displayed as flex, and this is the child element, this is the flex item right here. So each one of these now a flex item. So we will grab the flex item by doing the user data and choose the data inside of it. We say flex to be in 1. Now we'll have a same equal width. So let's say we add a border to it. So let's say border 1 pixel solid. As you can see, we all have the same width. I take this one out. Now we need to put, you can see we're on each different line, and we need to do that right here and make this one bold, as you can see right here. So let's do that. So we're gonna grab again this, we just copy this one, paste it right here, and I want this the second span. There's a span inside of it right here. I span right here and span. So we want to grab the second one, and to do that, since we did not have a class where there do that, you can grab a span, use the n child selector, and specify 2 for the second one. I will set a display to be block, but before it display inline, I save it. As you can see, it jumped to the new line. I give it a little margin tap to be 0.5 RAM, and I make a little bit bold. Be fonts width be 500. Now a little bit bold, and that's it for this session right here. Now let's focus on the footer. So I go down here, say code footer, and then I say margin tap to be 3 RAM, and add some space, and that's it for that's all we're doing for the footer. Now we will do the button. So button, first we will remove the underline with the text decoration. It says value to be none. As you can see, it's removed. As padding, 2 RAM top and bottom, and 4 RAM left and right. I say display inline block. By default, it display just inlines. and if you display inline, the padding top and bottom will not work. Sorry, padding left and right will not work. Now I display inline black, it will work, as you can see. I set background color to be the primary. So var primary. Save this, as you can see. Give it a border radius of 0.8 rem. I set color to be the off-white. I save it, as you can see. It says font size, increase the font size a little bit to be 1.8 rem. Now that's nice. Now let's do the animation right here, as you can see, and hover, and that all we have to do is button, hover, and padding to be 2 rem. So now it's gonna be 2 rem top and bottom, and 2 rem left and right. So let's save this. But you see, but it's not that smooth, so we add a little better animation by using the transition. I was especially the property what we want to transition, in this case the padding, and we doing over 0.35 seconds, and the time function be is and out right here. Save this. Now we have it, as you can see, and down here also. So first code is finished. Now let's focus on this one. Let me write a little comment right here. Variant 2. So we said B code then code variant, instead of 1 we say 2. Set position be relative, say overflow be hidden. I says height to be 65 rem, which is a 650 pixel. I save it. You can see some of the stuff are cut off. As you can remember, go back up here. The code is display at flex, so all these code are display at flex. So I come back here. I want to say justify contents to be flex end. So it put all the content at the bottom right here. Bottom. The reason why it put down the bottom right here, justify content put down the bottom right here, is because we set the flex direction to be columns working on a vertical axis, no longer on a horizontal axis. And we set its color to be off-white. So var, now you won't be able to see anything because it's the same color. So we comment this one out for now. If you look here, you can see there's a dark background color right here, and then this text on top of it. So let's do that. First, let's get this image inside here. So we're going to grab this one, paste it right here, and we're going to target our card header, which holds this image. And what we do is set position to be absolute. That's why we set this, the parent, to be position relative. I save it. As you can see, it's taking shape. I says width to be 100%. As parent width, and height to be 100% as parent height, and the top to be 0, and left to be 0. I save it. As you can see, it took the full width and height of this parent element. Now I'm gonna put the overlay on top of it. So I'm gonna grab this, and we will use the pseudo element again, the before. And we say content again, content to be empty, position to be absolute, width to be 100%, height 100%, and display black, and top be 0, left to be 0. Okay. And a background, we use a linear gradient. So I say background image linear gradient, and the first color will be a RGBA, again black, so fully, so 0, fully transparent, so 0, 0, 0, and the transparency 0 also. And I will set that one to be of 40%, and the second color again RGB. Let me copy this, and set a 0 for transparency. It will be 0.8. I save it, as you can see right here. So for the first one is a 0 from here all the way to like 40%, and it stop, and this one took the rest 60%. And we want to make sure this one always take the full height as container. So I'm going to grab this again, copy this, paste, and target the image inside of the image tag. It says height to be 100%. Now you can see the text is gone, is nowhere to be found, because this, when we set the image, the body to be positioned, the header, called header to be positioned absolute, it went on top of everything. So the text, these texts are actually beneath it, so we need to bring them out. So to do that, we grab, I paste this again, but instead of header, it's gonna be body. I set position to be relative, and then I'm going to use a Z index, and I set it to a high number. I will say 5. I save it. Now you can see them right here. And also the button not showing, so we're going to copy this one, sorry, copy this one. Remember, the button inside of the folder, so it's gonna be folder. I save it. Now our image, and we have the text and the button. Now let's change the colors here. So we go back here, we uncomment this, and we have our color right here. Now we need to add the animation, as you can see right here, that the zoom in animation. So to do that, very simple. When we hover over this, we want to zoom in, so we grab this one, variant 2, come down here, paste it. When we hover it, and grab a card header and the image side of it, and transform scale to 1.2. By default scale 1. So I save it. Watch what happens when hover it. See, but we had a problem. See the overlay disappear, and also it just flash very quickly, so it's not that smooth. So to do that, to make it smooth, we just go back here, this called image, add a transition as we did for the button before. So it's transition, and the property will be transform. Again, 0.35 seconds. Ease and out. I save it. Now you can see it's smooth. Now we need to fix the overlay that is disappearing, and to do that, very simple. Here we give it a z index of a number, not higher than this one. So now the background color stay there, the overlay stay there. So that's it for the code. So we had the first one right here with the small image here, and then we had this one, a full image with the button, all of this information. So if you like it, be sure to hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. If you have any question, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you. In the next week tutorial, we'll be doing a 12 grades column, because we'll be creating a custom 12 grade column with flashbacks. So be sure to subscribe so you'll be notified when I release that video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.